Right before the news, we played you a clip of the Vista Mayor, John Franklin. He went to Sacramento to talk before the Assembly Public Safety Committee. Actually, it's the Senate Public Safety Committee, excuse me. And he explained what it's like for children have to go to school when there's homeless encampments in the way, and how scary and disgusting it is, how threatening the homeless people are, all the vulgar things they say, the feces that they smear on the doors of the school. And, of course, this was a very simple bill. You couldn't camp yourself within 500 feet of a school or a park. All right? So no camping, no sleeping, no nothing. 500 feet. They voted it down. They voted it down 3-1. Very mild bill. You get 72 hours notice, and you'd be given a list of places you could go and get help. And then if you still didn't want to leave, you could get a misdemeanor or an infraction offense. You know what they would do. They'd give you the equivalent of a parking ticket. Now, this is the minimum that a normal society, a normal community should do for children, is get all the weird drug-addicted mental patient vagrants out of the way so they could get into class. But that's not what the Senate Public Safety Committee wanted to do. Let's talk to the mayor of Vista, John Franklin. John, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
I was really struck by, we played the clip yesterday, and I didn't even know it was coming. I was really struck by the comments that you read from some of the parents, and you got absolutely nowhere with that Senate Public Safety Committee. Talk about your experience.
Well, they acted like they hadn't heard a word of it. They didn't care that I read comments from parents and teachers and kindergartners who said that they felt unsafe because people were urinating and defecating right in front of them, that they were shouting obscenities and vulgarities, that they were disrobed and naked in public, and just generally menacing the students. One of the school employees said that she has to clean poop off of the doorstep of the school every day, and that recently she came to work to find somebody had smeared their feces all over the front door. This is what we're asking our schools, our teachers, our young kids to put up with. And when we heard Senator Nancy Skinner from Berkeley and Senator Aisha Wahab, the committee chair from Oakland, they completely ignored the plight of the students and the parents and what they're going through. And instead, in the words of Senator Skinner, we were, quote, trying to make homeless people invisible. We're not trying to make them invisible. We're trying to do something for them, which is called house them. We want to give them a place to live. In my city, we have a beautiful shelter facility. And to clarify, this bill required that shelter is available. And as you said, it has to be available and offered as an alternative. So, this is the simplest of ideas. We have a beautiful bed for you to go sleep in tonight, a hot meal and a warm shower, and somebody who will help you navigate your way into getting permanently rehoused. Of course, they say no because of their drug addiction, but that was ignored also. But so even when we've offered all of that, and we're trying to get somebody off of the steps of an elementary school, these senators absolutely rejected it. In fact, the comments from Senator Wahab, the chair, seemed, in my opinion, to implicate that the city somehow were responsible for creating these homeless. They directly attack cities for not allowing or creating more housing, rejecting the reality that it is the state of California with the CEQA requirements, with the VMT requirements. In the unincorporated part of San Diego County, we have last year built 57 new single-family homes. That is not the cities doing that. We are not able to build in the unincorporated areas because the state of California is cramming high-rise vertical density like the people that are in downtown Los Angeles enjoy. But the people that live in Vista, they chose a semi-rural, bucolic, suburban environment for a reason, because that's where their American dream existed. And my job as mayor is to protect that. And so I was extremely disappointed that they just ignored the pleas of kids altogether.
It just seems like you were speaking to insane people. Nobody sane in my entire life would ever side with the people who are doing the defecating and the urinating and the disrobing and all the vulgar behavior against kids. Nobody in your whole life, did you ever imagine you'd have adults in any capacity, let alone on a Senate Public Safety Committee, talk and act like this?
It is beyond imagination. Senator Wahab said about the children, the only time that she referenced the kids, she said that we need to, quote, talk to our kids about the need for the whole community. In other words, and she said in that it's not just for rich people. In other words, that we should learn to put up with people. You know, the worst part of this whole thing is Skinner and Wahab, they talked repeatedly about affordability. But let me tell you, I've been rolling my sleeves up on this homelessness issue for about the last 7 years. And I'm going to be honest with you, no brag, I think I've learned as much as any public leader could learn about this, oftentimes by visiting with people living directly on the streets. There are two major categories of people suffering from homelessness. One is a category of people who want help, and they will take the help we're offering. Those people are very easy to help. We say, show up here, come with us, work this program. They do it, and we get them rehoused very quickly. We have wonderful programs in our city that help people with that. But then we have this group, they call them shelter resistant, people that we have 12 outreach workers on our streets. They're offering these people. We have approached some people as many as 20 times, and we have a 94% decline rate. Only 6% of the time do the people living outdoors unsheltered say, yes, I will go with you to the shelter. And that's the problem. We need better tools, and this bill was a modest tool that would have given us better power to get people off the streets who are severely mentally ill or drug addicted, and they need help whether they're well enough to know they need help or not.
And that's why they turn down all offers of help, because they're mentally ill or they're drug addicted. And I've heard Gavin Newsom even say that he just doesn't believe that those kinds of people exist. A couple of years ago, he was asked by a reporter. He just rejected the entire concept of people who habitually turn down help. But they do turn down help, and there's a good reason. They're out of their minds.
They obviously have not spent the time that I have visiting with people on the street, but more important, visiting with the parents of adult children. I met last week parents whose children died on the street of their drug addiction. And, you know, they looked at me and they said, their society, the government, the state, the city couldn't or wouldn't do anything to help us. And so our 24-year-old son is dead now. He died in January. And we have parents like this. And, you know, I know it's really hard, but I want all the parents who are listening, because there are a lot of them out there whose children are homeless. Whenever I go in a room of 40 people, I say, you know, I know somebody here, their child is homeless, and somebody always comes up to me afterwards and says, I'm the one. My child is living on the street. Those parents need to speak up for their kids, and we need to speak up for their kids. We need to get these people the help that they need. We need to get them into, involuntary treatment for addiction. And, you know, we used to do this when an addict's behavior was criminal. We would get them in front of a judge, not so that we could jail them or criminalize the homeless, but so that we could finally use the criminal justice system to get them to the rehabilitation or mental health help that they needed. By taking away all of the misdemeanor crimes, by diminishing our access to our county jails, by taking away cash bail, by letting 80,000 people out of the state penitentiary, all of the things that have been done have removed our ability to use the criminal justice system, not to criminalize, not to punish, but to help, to alter, to intervene in the lives of people who were in absolute crisis. And many of those who had those interventions happen because of a court of law, they will tell you, I would be dead today, I am sure, had the judge not given me the opportunity to get well again.
That's what Prop 47 did. It took away the leverage that prosecutors and judges had to say you can either go get treatment for your drug addiction, or you can go to jail. Now they get neither. They don't get jail and they don't get drug addiction, and they're left to die on the streets.
Well, we were sold a bill of goods in the state of California, and they've been trying to peddle it nationally, that something has been wrong, terribly wrong with the criminal justice system. It's all against this group or against that group. It's not really meant to help people. Look, the reality is, for the last 3,000 years, we've been using jails and prisons to take those people who represent a real, clear and present danger to the rest of us law-abiding citizens, And number one, keep them away from us. Number two, to use the general deterrence. And we need to be talking as public leaders about what general deterrence means. I need to see somebody punished for the crime of shoplifting or illegal defecation in public so that I know that if I do that crime, I might be punished too. A little bit of criminal enforcement goes a long way to advance the general deterrence theory, and it works. It stops people from committing these crimes. We have got to become a state and a country of law and order again. The experiment of dismantling our criminal justice system in the state of California has got to come to an end.
Well said, John. John Franklin, Mayor of Vista, thank you for coming on with us.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Guy is just loaded with common sense. It's obvious, isn't it? Why are we still debating this after all these years? There's no other direction to go in but to go back to the way that we used to conduct our society.